talk to anybody anymore, and I don't meet people. But I think when I do, I'm going to substitute the words. Instead of saying "Have a nice day," I think I'm going to say, "Don't forget to like and subscribe."
Ring the bell.
Ring the bell.
But it's really long, so we have to boil it down to some
Smash
pithy
that
fray.
button.
Oh, please. When this is all gone, and it'll be gone soon. You saw that thing on the internet with the Postmodern Jukebox did a song called "When That Man Is Dead and Gone."
Oh yes,
and it became a huge for reasons we will
I
not
know.
discuss.
Yeah.
But when this whole YouTube culture is dead and gone, not a tear will be shed. But I digress.
Yes, we've delved into.
I made a very bad. I made an off the cuff decision that led to.
I don't know that it was. I mean, I don't know that it was a bad decision, but it was difficult.
It was a challenge.
It was a challenge. So Vittorio De Sica, Italian director.
Yeah,
Vittorio De Sica. Let's see. Actually, I don't know when he first started making movies. Charming looking guy. But his last movie was in 1976. And the first film that we saw, that it was the second one that I watched, but it was the earliest one, was in 1946. But I know that he had been making movies before then. He started making movies. Good Lord, He was in a movie in 1917. But yeah, 1928, 1932.
He debuted as a director in 1940.
Oh, okay. So was he an actor before then?
Yeah, he
was.
In
the silent films.
Well, theater, he was strikingly handsome, and he was a theater actor. You guys can read the Wikipedia page too.
Yeah. Grew up in Naples, started out as an office clerk. Yeah. Increasingly drawn toward acting, made his screen debut when he was in his teens, joining a stage company in 1923. But in the late 1920s, he was a successful matinee idol of the Italian theater, and repeated that achievement in Italian movies, mostly light comedies. Light comedies, Lionel. He turned to directing in 1940, making comedies in a similar vein. But with his fifth film, The Children Are Watching Us, he revealed hitherto unsuspected depths and an extraordinary sensitive touch with actors, especially children. It was the first film he made with the writer Cesare Zavattini, with whom he would subsequently make Shoeshine and Bicycle Thieves, heartbreaking studies of poverty in post-war Italy, which won special Oscars before the foreign film category was officially established. After the box office disaster of Umberto D, a relentlessly bleak study of the problems of old age, he returned to directing lighter work, appearing in front of the camera more frequently. So apparently we watched a hit and a flop. And I can't tell you why one was a hit and one was a flop.
And you've seen Bicycle Thieves, right?
I have, yeah. I've seen,
because that's the classic, and that's the one that probably most people have seen, is Bicycle Thieves.
Yeah.
And Bicycle Thieves is what? Bicycle Thieves is like 47, I think.
Bicycle Thieves was 48. Shoeshine was 46.
Right.
Yeah.
So what happened was Jim and I were thrashing around for a topic for our next episode, and I just randomly went to the Criterion channel and said, hey, I'm just going to pick two, because both Jim and I have a subscription to the Criterion channel. And I just said, I'm just going to pick two films by somebody I haven't explored. So I picked Vittorio De Sica, which is like picking Bella Tarr and saying, let's check this guy out. Let's see what's going on. Sam Peckinpah, Wild Bunch. That sounds like fun. Wild Bunch. It's like McHale's Navy, and so I said, let's watch Umberto D and Shoeshine. And then I also asked Jim to watch a little piece of a film that I'd been watching also Italian, which was Federico Fellini's 8.5, which was a massive hit, a very influential film on a lot of people. And that's all. I'm just going to let you take the lead on this, Jim, what you think about these three and what you took away from them. But just to set the stage for if anybody's actually listening to this, Vittorio De Sica is considered one of the classic guys of the Italian post-World War II neo-realist cinema, is how it's described.
Mm-hmm.
And so what the hallmarks of neorealist cinema is you're not necessarily using professional actors. It's not fancy. It's not, it's supposed to be, I hate the adjective gritty, but it's supposed to be about common people, the life
real
of
people,
of the everyman.
Not glamorous. Not glamorous.
Not glamorous, but anyway, that's the interesting. It's not. It ain't 8.5, and we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead. What do you think? What struck you most about these films?
I watched Umberto D first, and
so did I. Yeah.
In some ways, I think it was the more artistic film of the two. Yeah. You could see that it was made another decade later than Shoeshine. Shoeshine, in some ways,
6 years later.
46
to 52. Umberto.
46 to 50. You're right. Just 6.
Shoeshine is 46
years later. Yeah, you're right. I thought it was
52.
42
still,
to
6
52,
years. 6 years is a long time.
And it just has greater. It has just kind of greater depth of field. Like the scenes have a different sense in terms of color. They're both in black and white, but there's sort of I don't know. It's like a different palette. The story is about an older man, probably somebody my age. I mean, that was Umberto D, who spent 30 years in civil service, and it begins with the pensioners' riot or march, not a riot, a march. Where the pensioners are demanding more pay for their pensions because inflation is such that what they were offered doesn't keep up with a living, any way to maintain a living. And then Umberto D, you're introduced to him, and he's trying to pawn his watch or sell it to people that he's meeting in a restaurant, and then on the street, and nobody wants to buy. And eventually, he sells his watch to somebody who's panhandling. And then he heads back to the room that he's renting, and his constant companion is his dog Flike. Flike, Flike. I don't know. Did they say what his dog's name meant?
Nope.
In the movie? Never. Flike. I think he said at one point something about energy or something like that, but Flike is an amazing dog. I mean, they got an incredible, like a circus dog for this role. He was fantastic as a character in this film. And on one level, it's about a man and his dog, and that is heartwarming. But the movie then proceeds to crush Umberto D to more or less to dust under the weight of a kind of an uncaring world that has forgotten its elders, that doesn't really know how to care for the older generation.
And the older generation doesn't care for each other.
Yeah, they don't look out after each other.
I mean, nobody cares for anybody. The only person who cares for, I got to jump in.
No, you're right.
And also, who I thought was the most magnificent actor in that film was Maria.
Yep.
Maria was amazing. And Maria's she's the maid in the apartment building where he lives, which is basically just a very large house owned by this woman who's sort of, if anybody, the antagonist of the film, because she's kicking Umberto D out.
Onto the street,
couldn't care less. She sings opera and she has fancy friends and she has dinner parties and stuff like that. And she's going to kick Umberto D's ass out of the building. And Maria is sort of the scullery maid of this house. She sleeps on a cot in the hallway, and she's what, 18.
Mhm.
Magnificent, just a magnificent face, and nobody's going to see this because it's a podcast. But what's this? Usually
Yeah.
when we say come here and take a look, we go like this. Come here,
That's
come
right.
here and take a look at this. She
Well, the
doesn't
hand
do
is
that.
either sideways or turned up when we do it, but upside down.
And she
Upside down
claws.
for
It's almost like a
the
clawing
yeah, like
thing.
like a
It's
cat clawing.
I just thought it was amazing. I thought it was so amazing lighting the newspaper to get rid of the ants.
Yes.
It's
Everything that she does in this movie is really wonderful. I agree with you that she is far and away the main attraction.
And striking the matches, like when she walks to the stove,
Yeah.
and you see this like patch above the stove with all
Looks like
these
it's been
score marks
clawed,
on.
Yeah.
And you're like, what's going on? She takes a match out and she strikes it to light the grill.
Against that part of the wall.
Yeah,
No,
and it's just
that was a great scene.
amazing. She's just so and I found in general with both the films, it's the women.
Yeah.
The women are the light in the films, and she's the only one who cares about Umberto D. She's the only person
She
who
is.
cares.
I mean, not all the women in both of the films, but
no, but I'm not saying all the women, but I'm saying any light that comes, the major light that comes through is Maria. And the interesting thing about it is that he's not very nice to her.
Yeah, no, he's just ordering
a
her
mystery.
around.
And that's the interesting thing about Umberto D is that De Sica is not going easy on Umberto D.
Mm-mm.
He's not making him a lovable person at all. Umberto D has sort of a quiet dignity, but you can tell he's kind of reserved and a quiet guy and a thoughtful guy.
Yeah,
but he's not. But you never get any explanation of his internal state of mind. Really, very rarely. He's not terribly nice to Maria. He's not mean to her, but he's patriarchal. And I think that's maybe one of the things about the film is that he's old school. He's the old school, father, and his interaction with Maria when they talk to each other, you can tell that, and that's the thing. It's almost like the remains of the day. You think that he really does love her and he really does care about her, but there's a certain formality that he wraps himself in that he can't say that. And I found that when I listened to their interactions of him talking to her, it's like, just tell her, be nice to her. When she tells him she's pregnant, he's like, well, which guy is it? Is it the Florentine or the Naples guy? Yeah. And he's not saying anything like, how are you going to survive? Or how are you going to, are you scared? How are you going to, what's your plan?
He's like, he wants to make sure that one of them takes responsibility.
He's an old
and then in
dad.
The end, he says, you should choose the
Neapolitan, of course, because De
Neapolitan.
Sica was a Neapolitan. He says, get rid of kick the Florentine guy, which I thought was funny.
The Florentine
guy. But I kind of like.
And she doesn't have that choice, as it turns out, and he can't.
She has no choices.
At one point, it really becomes clear because he's looking desperately for his dog, for Flyke, because Flyke has run off while he was in the hospital, and he left Maria to take care of Flyke, and Flyke meanwhile had run out the door. Now, it's not clear why he went to the hospital. It's not clear that he was sick. I noticed when he checked the thermometer, it was reading normal, and they made a big point of showing you that. Right? Do you know when he said he had a fever? He had 37 in Celsius. That's normal. That's like basically 98.6. So in Fahrenheit. So it's weird. Like he needed to get out of there, or it seemed like people really enjoyed like staying with the nuns in the big hall. It was this very strange kind of scene. Like,
well, they kept
talking about how great it was. Yeah. They got fed really well. Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And I love that guy in the bed next to him. Boy, the classic Italian, the Southern Italian from Central Casting. They're great in here. Yeah, here. Ask for a rosary. Come on, ask for a rosary.
That's right. Ask for a rosary. They give you something special.
It's
I know.
So
it was like a kind of a scam that they were running. But meanwhile,
a gentle scam. But a gentle. Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point of the Sica films is that there's really nothing it's not horrible. It's not some grim brutalist movie. Everything does have a slight soft edge to it. It's just it's more of a farce, and it's more sort of like, yeah, this is just kind of screwed up, but you kind of just like work your way through it. Um, and
Well,
it's all these grifts and all these like making dues and stuff, like the little indignities that people
I
got to
don't really
put
know it.
up
I'm
with.
not sure that I mean, right? No big crimes ever happen in either of these films. But
Well,
people are
there's no
punished. People are
sociopath.
punished very severely for small crimes, and it really does revolve around the evils of money. Um, and maybe vanity. I mean, obviously, the landlady is a social climber. So, the way from Umberto's eyes that we see her is she needs to get him out of there because she needs to redecorate and have a grand living room so that she can entertain properly.
Right.
Because she's really got her sights set on a different class of people and she can't have a lodger anymore because she's getting married.
Right.
And Umberto can't accept that he's being kicked out. And there's never any discussion of couldn't he rent somewhere else that would fit within his budget, given his pension. Because he does have money coming in each month, but it's as if he kind of can't let go of certain trappings to make his life affordable. Because he
Yeah,
goes out wearing a suit and he's walking his dog and yeah.
he's an
Go ahead.
unyielding character.
Yes.
Well, no, I think, and that's what makes the film really great, because they don't turn him into a martyr. They don't turn him into a saint. He's got his pride and he's got his reserve, and he doesn't let it down. Even when you're yelling at the screen, hey, why don't you can't you just hold Maria's hand? I mean, she's pregnant. She's got nowhere else to go. She knows she's going to be thrown out. Wouldn't you be really worried about her? And that, heartbreaking line, why can't you go live with your family? Oh, my father will beat me.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, okay. And like, that's accepted. That's the way it's going to go down. And so there's nothing we can do about that. But yeah, just everybody, go ahead.
Yeah, both of those characters that you care about and that aren't villains they're just one step away from being destitute,
Right.
being basically run over, by this, this modern society, this modern Rome.
And also that society sets people against each other, because a lot of the people he gets into arguments with are just as destitute as he is. That scene near the end where he wants to give the dog to the dog boarding place.
Yeah.
And it's just like they're separated by a very thin space.
Right.
And that's the ultimate indignity of the system, is that it sets these people against each other. It's not just that somebody has their foot on your throat. It's that they make you hate the person next to you.
And even worse, when he tries to give away his dog, he's trying to give away his dog to the little girl that he met.
Daniela.
Who knows the dog, who loves the dog. Yep. And the parent is like, why are you trying to give the dog away? Well, what does he say? I think I can't take care of it anymore. And the mother says, well, that's obviously there's something wrong with the dog.
Yeah. Suspicion.
Yeah.
Wariness. And I love that whole thing, getting onto the bus with the dog. You can't bring the dog on the bus.
Right.
I can't if it's before 8:00. What are you trying to tell me? My
dog,
job?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's only for hunting dogs. He's a hunting dog. What do you have? It must be hunting something really small. He says, I might have a gun in the briefcase. It's actually a laugh out loud, but it's not a funny interchange. No. It's really interesting because you always get this feeling that everybody's and I think this is very much sort of like an Italian and European thing. Like there's just this expected give and take on everything. Like nothing's straightforward.
Of everyone. Like there's a scam being run.
I don't know if it's suspicious. I think there's just this sort of presumed thing that you just gotta haze somebody. You gotta rattle people. You can't let people you can't accept anything at first. Everything has to be
Mm-hmm.
everything has to be haggled, and you got to you got to hassle people before you give in. And it's kind of humorous to a certain degree because it's kind of pro forma. You get the feeling that they're sort of following a formula. You take 50,000 lira. No, I can't do it for. And then you come back and stuff. It's just kind of interesting, but it's just that constant thing of just constantly having to like hassle each other all the time
Yeah.
about everything.
Yeah. And at the end, it's upsetting. But at the end, there's this sense that he's completely broken down, and then maybe for the only time in the movie, he's living for the moment.
Yep.
He's in the moment with his
Yeah.
dog,
In a
and
beautiful
it's
park.
in a beautiful park. But but his prospects are super grim at
Yeah.
that point. And then the movie ends.
Yeah.
Fine,
Fine.
hooray! Great.
Great
And then
ones.
and that was when I wanted to throw something at your head. But fine, I went on and I watched Shoeshine.
Which
I
is
had to
actually
let a little
6
time
years
go by.
earlier. Yeah, 6 years earlier, one of his first films.
Yep. And Shoeshine in some ways is a much darker film. That was a dark film. Shoeshine, I think, is a much darker film.
Well, it ends poorly.
Oh yeah.
Umberto D doesn't. Umberto D has sort of this kind of happy thing
It's
stapled
not.
onto
I
the
don't
end
think
of
it
it.
is happy. I mean, I that was no, happy was not my sense of Umberto D in terms of the ending. I thought it was absolutely tragic because the happy thing was that he was finally fully present and kind with his dog. The dog literally rejects him at one point.
Mm-hmm.
So there is great criticism of his character. And
There
so then
is.
finally he's able to just be there with the dog,
Yeah.
who is his constant companion.
And I think that's fascinating. You're sort of telling me what I was talking about before. It's just like, can't you just be free with somebody?
Right.
Because that's what you think of with Maria. It's just like she obviously loves you,
Right.
you know? And that whole thing about you got to study your grammar because they'll always take advantage of the ignorant. And that's why she has the paper and the pen and the ink pot on the table in the kitchen because she's trying to teach herself. She's trying to improve herself. And
Mm-hmm.
probably he was the inspiration for that. He was the one and so she looks up to him
Yeah.
and she cares for him. And she's the only person who shows him any kindness. And you're like, hey, Umberto, why don't you say something nice to her? Why don't you say something positive and uplifting to her? He's not. He can't. He's
No.
unyielding. And so I guess the interesting thing about the ending of Umberto D is that he finally yields a little bit. He just wants
Right.
to play with the dog. Anyway, Scusa,
Yes.
or however it's called, it's a great Shoeshine, which is Scusia. So
Yes.
basically, go ahead. You take the lead on.
Again with the animal though. So
Yeah.
an animal has a prominent role in both of these films. In this case, it is a horse, a beautiful horse. And it is about two shoeshine boys who are constantly being hassled by the police because they're shoeshines without a license,
But they're
but they are
successful.
successful. They're
doing
making money.
Yeah.
They're making money and they're saving up to buy a horse, a kind of somewhat unrealistic, animal to take care of as on a limited budget, as is pointed out. But it starts with them riding this horse, riding two horses in the country where there's a stable, and they've been going out there to rent time to ride, and they are just in love with this one horse, and they want to own it. Because someone else might buy the horse if they don't. And even at one point, they're upset that someone else is renting time on the horse. So this is their whole focus. And at some point, they're drawn into a scheme by one of the two friends' brothers to just deliver some blankets to someone. And they do that. And then some men come in claiming to be police and they're paid a lot of money to leave, and they're able to buy the horse. But shortly after that, there's an investigation, and the woman who didn't quite understand how it all went down, but the woman who had was being accused of trafficking illegal
The
goods.
fortune buying.
Well, maybe you
so
can
they
explain it better because
Yeah. So what happens is that the two boys, one of them's Giuseppe, and the other one is, I forget the name of the other kid, and they're both great. They're both great.
Yes, the wonderful
They're
actors,
both
actually.
great.
Yeah.
They're both great. And one of them has a brother, and the brother says, "Hey, I got something going." And so the two Shoeshine boys go to meet the brother and two compatriots in crime, and they've got American blankets because this is taking place during the American occupation. It takes place in Rome. It's taking place during the American occupation of Rome.
Yeah.
And so they say, "Hey, take these blankets to this woman. She'll buy the blankets from you. You get your cut." And so they take the blankets. They go to the woman who's a fortune teller. They offer the blankets. They do this stupid negotiating thing where they argue back and forth, which seems completely robotic. And then as soon as she buys them, the three guys show up, the three cops show up, but they pretend the three criminals show up, and they pretend they're cops,
like
and
mafia.
they
They're
accuse
like mafia.
her. Yeah, they're mob, and they accuse the fortune teller of purchasing stolen goods, and they tell the two kids to get lost. So it's obviously a setup, the entire thing. But then the fortune teller woman IDs the two Shoeshine boys and gets them arrested. And things just go down from there. And then, like, the rest of the film all takes place in sort of this juvie penitentiary, which has definite echoes of Piranesi's Carceri. It's this magnificent interior shot. It looks like a Leonardo drawing. It's just this. It's impossible to explain. It's just this long hall, and at the end of it, there's this balcony way up on the thing, and there's a spiral iron staircase that goes up to the balcony. There's just all kinds of. You could tell that De Sica just loved that space. He loved that space, and it's all about surviving in juvie, and how, to make a very long story short, how eventually the hand of fate turns the brothers against the two Shoeshine boys against each other.
No, it's Giuseppe, and is it Pasquale or is it Raffaele?
Pasquale, yeah.
Pasquale, yeah. Are the two friends, and the main characters really is, the main point of it is their friendship, and the unfairness of being thrown into prison, for really not doing it. They knew, I think they got a sense there was something up, but they were delivering blankets, right? I guess I didn't get the sense of what was the big deal about American blankets, but they must have been stolen from the army. Is that
sure? Yeah, they're probably stolen blankets, but all they're being asked to was to deliver these blankets and get some money for them, which is pretty easy to explain your way out of. But then it appears that the fortune teller lady, who was the mark, had some high connections,
right?
And she manages to get them arrested. It gets the Shoeshine boys arrested, and then there's just all these interactions that take place in this juvie prison, of new people coming in, and all the interactions between all the people. It take too long to explain it all,
and it's so bleak that they're really locking them into these awful little cement cells with nothing to sleep on, and it is. It's definitely a study in sort of the inhumanity of how they dealt with poor children in Italy at the time.
I don't see this. I've seen much bleaker films about incarceration. There's still friendships. Yeah, they're kids, but there's still friendships, and they still have fun, and there's still jokes.
Well, I think that's a main point of it, is that the kids are able to take this awful situation and make it a little less than totally unbearable.
It's a paradise, as I think Pasquale says.
But he's being very sarcastic. He's being
you get fed, you get a movie,
the food,
you get a place to sleep. It's a paradise.
Yeah.
It's not horrible. It's not like they're being
Oliver Twist
daily.
level terrible, but it is.
But it's still
close.
It's not great. But the real part of the real focus of the film is that the hand of fate slowly turns these two genuine friends against each other.
Yeah.
with disastrous results, and they start
Yeah.
betraying each other, and other people betray them. And just
And
like
hilarity ensues, right? I mean,
yeah,
the thing is though, like in some films, and maybe I'm just used to this. Maybe this is the difficult thing about these movies by De Sica is that as an American of this age, you expect there to be an uptick somewhere,
right,
right? Their fortunes should at least turn around at some point. And
right,
it's just this gradual descent into oblivion that
right.
in both of these, that is, it's really hard to watch, you know?
But it's
The
not.
first, you know,
But I've watched other things that are far harder to watch. That
mhm.
even, but there is a fundamental humanity to the entire thing, and there's a fundamental humor throughout it, and it's not humorless. It's not
No.
airless. There's always a sense of humanity, and again, she plays a much smaller role in the film, but to me, Nonarella was just a shining light
Wait,
in Shoeshine.
Nonorella.
The little girl who loves
Oh, yes.
Giuseppe,
Yes.
and she is
Who
just
was that?
unbelievable. She's at that perfect age when, she's wearing big girl clothes, but she's still, she's only like, 3.5 feet tall, and she's
Yeah.
just wonderful.
Yeah. The
And she
skinny
has,
legs.
she
I
has,
can't find her in the no, the palmist. No, Maria Campi was the fortune teller. You're right. It was Nonorella. There it is. Anna Pedoni. Anna Pedoni was fantastic.
fabulous.
Yeah,
A,
really
a
good.
ray of sunshine. She's the only
Uh,
one who really cared about them. Because
I want
remember,
to
the
find
mother comes
the.
by, and the mother beats up the kid for breaking the. She gets angry with her son, one of the Shoeshine boys. Mom comes to the prison, and she says, "How could you do this?" And he
You're a
said,
rat.
We didn't know what we didn't know that they were
Yeah.
stolen blankets." She says, "I don't care what the blankets. You ratted on the mafia guy. How could you possibly do this?
How
We'll
could you
never
rat?
live this
Yeah.
down." And it's just like, oh
Yeah.
my
The
god.
one visit Giuseppe gets, and it's like, you rat.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
yeah. The
Unbelievable.
the the
But
mother took them.
from the mother. So the woman who played Maria in Umberto D was the actress's Maria Pia Casilio, and yeah, I don't know if she went
Magnificent.
on to do anything. I'll find out, but that may have been her only. No, she was in 3 other films.
Yeah, magnificent.
Yeah. Something came to me just now. I was thinking about this about Umberto D. Go back there for a second. Maria, the character Maria, the actress Maria Pia Casilio, she has something that I don't think any of the other actors in both films have. Does and she has this precision of blocking. In acting, one of the tricky things to do is to move with precision and intention according to the direction, right? According to the director.
Uh-huh.
And either she had worked in a kitchen exactly like this
Yeah.
and done all of the same things. But if you go back and watch the scenes where she's in, all of her actions are not just precise, but with a kind of attitude of there's like this kind of wistful attitude she has, even when she goes and opens the windows and looks to see if the soldier is outside, and sneaks into his room when she thinks that Umberto
Yeah.
is sleeping.
But she has to see
Everything
the
she
soldier.
does, every
Yeah.
single action she takes is done sort of so perfectly. And the actor who plays Umberto D has some of this too, in terms of the way in which he takes off his coat. But she was just remarkable on screen, and it's a little disheartening to see that she only ever did three more
No,
three
she
more
did an
pictures.
enormous number of films. If you look up Maria Pia Casilio on Wikipedia,
Oh, she did?
She appeared in like 30. I mean, they may not
36 films. Great. That's good, because I was just amazed by her. Absolutely amazed by her.
De Sica says she was the lucky charm. She was a lucky charm in his films. There's also another quote I really want to get out there, which is which one? Shoeshine. This quote on Wikipedia on Shoeshine from Orson Welles. Orson Welles said of Shoeshine, quote, what De Sica can do, that I can't do. I ran his Shoeshine again recently, and the camera disappeared. The screen disappeared. It was just life. What a great quote from a master. I mean,
yeah.
From a master. I think it's a great thing. But so circling back, it's opera.
It is, and it's tragedy. Both tragedy. Well, it's good to know that. It'd be better to know that going into it. So if any of our listener wants to wants to watch these films, just know, it's like
it's Pagliacci.
Yeah,
it doesn't. There's like you said, it's like the Count of Monte Cristo, except he never gets out of the castle at Chateau d'If.
That's right.
He just dies there.
He meets the priest, his mentor, and they plan an escape, and it fails.
Right.
Yeah, and that's not the end. And then they get old and die in the castle. So yeah, it is unflinching and merciless, but
it's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
It's opera because, and also what's interesting is how sound does count for a lot with his stuff too, because in Umberto D, there's the electric tram going past his window. There's the bells. In fact, the whole movie begins with bells. Mm-hmm. Remember that? The bells before the protest, the pension protest. There's bells. There's the ticking of the clock. It really reminded me a lot of Tokyo Story. In some ways, you have a director who has done funny films and who actually has a long career in movie making up to that point. And then all of a sudden they make these very quiet films about common people in desperate situations. And people sort of like the father in Tokyo Story, he's unyielding. He's an older generation, and there's a certain wall between him and everybody around him. The famous line in Tokyo Stories when the mother dies, he says, I didn't know she's going to die. Maybe I should have been nicer to her.
I think I should have been nicer. Yeah. Your wife is dead. You're going to be lonely. The final lines. Yeah.
So he's like an Umberto D, except his prospects are not as bleak because he has a lot of children. That's the thing about Umberto D.
And he has a place to live.
And Umberto D, nothing about him. All you know is that he's
a pensioner. He's a civil servant,
Civil servant for 30 years. That's all you know. Mm-hmm. You know nothing else about him.
You get a sense that the people that he worked with don't especially love him.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there is definitely a sense of they're happy to see him just in oh, I used to work with you, but he has no strong friendships or ties with anyone.
No.
And he refuses to create a strong tie with Maria, who is super great with him, right? Obviously. Right. And there's all the stuff that you said. So yeah, it is a critique, I suppose.
Right. He's not a martyr.
Of a certain kind of person, yeah.
He's not a martyr at all.
But he doesn't deserve it either.
He doesn't deserve it.
The way things end up going.
But it's not some horrible twisted, it's not perverse. It's just the way things go. And in Umberto D, there is opera, literally, with the landlady singing. Yes. They're always singing opera. They're singing arias and things like that. And the problem is, if you do step away from it, it's easy to get too in love with these things. And if you do step away from it a bit, it's just okay, a guy and his dog, and there's the honest story made, and two kids want to buy a horse, and they turn on each other, and there's the packages, and there's the it's funny because if you just look at it objectively from a distance, these are really corny films.
Yeah.
These are corny 1940s, 1950 films. Like It's a Wonderful Life. It's just like corny
Except
film.
that it isn't, right?
Right.
It's absolutely not.
And it's not, because, the interesting thing, and then everybody talks about De Sica, which is, the common people being used as actors, and, not the lavish sets, but he has an eye. You can tell that all those scenes within that penitentiary were very carefully done.
Oh, yes.
And there's a lot of architecture. There's a lot of framing of things. And he's really thinking intentionally about it. And he's picking people who can really fill the screen. Those two boys were amazing.
Yeah, they're
in fact, all of them were.
Yeah, all the actors that he had. And I'm picking out Maria especially because I just thought she really stole the screen. But I, they were all amazing. And actually, it reminds me of the movie that you recommended also on top of these, which was Light and what is it? Light to Visual, something like that.
Visions of Light.
Visions of Light, and which was basically a documentary about, or I don't even know what it was. It was like
cinematographers. It's about cinematography.
It was about cameramen. It was about the art of the cameraman, aside from the director and aside from the actors, and just looking at the contributions that cameramen have made
of the
to cinema,
the directors of photography.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and
that was really, by the way, for anybody who's listening, that's free on the Internet Archive. If you look up Visions, if you go to the Internet Archive,
Sarah says that she saw it actually.
It's magnificent. It's really good. Go ahead. You were saying
No, I just want to point out that Sarah just said, I saw Visions of Light. So yeah, it's not so obscure that you can't find it, but you're right, Lionel. It only is on the archives, the Internet Archives.
I don't know, but it's there. That's how I found out because, by the way, of course, everything in my head comes from Feuilleton nowadays. Right. And he put a link to the Internet Archive to see Visions of Light. Now, the interesting thing that he points out about Visions of Light, which is absolutely true, is that it's very Hollywood focused. And it's very much about specific cinematographers that they could get interviews with. So it is not a representative.
Yeah, and it's not everything.
But it is a magnificent. It's just, you see these shots, you see and the interviews with the cinematographers are not particularly revelatory in any way, but just when you see these shots one after another, you're just, my God.
Well, they are pointing out aspects of the way things are captured and lit that I wouldn't have seen if they hadn't. Yeah. And one of the movies that comes up in Visions of Light is Days of Heaven,
right,
with Richard Gere.
Did you watch that?
I did watch that. Yeah.
What do you think?
I think the story and the script writing, the script writing I thought was kind of appallingly bad, but every scene is gorgeous.
It's just gorgeous.
Every scene. It felt like Malick couldn't be bothered to write a script and just said to the actors, say whatever you think you would say in this situation. And they did, with 1977,
we're good,
accents and also like colloquialisms that couldn't possibly exist at the time that the film was taking place. So that seemed to be the last thing on Malick's mind.
Well, fortunately, there's only about a total of 200 words of dialogue in the entire movie.
Well, there is a kind of a narration going on from the.
Well, there's a voiceover from the woman, which I sense got under your skin, but many
I thought actually that was a really cool part of it. I thought that was a really amazing part of it. It was more the pseudo brother sister dialogue and interaction that was going on. The way First of all, Richard Gere looked like he had always just stepped out of a hair salon. And it was very distracting. I'm like, what kind of product did you find in the cornfield? As you got off the...
Is there like a wall? Is there like a super center nearby?
You're riding on the top of a train, right? And there's no soot anywhere. You're perfectly scrubbed and you just freshly out of the salon. I just found that
But it
to
has
be
that,
bizarre.
like that whole train scene is amazing because you've got what, like 200 people. The train's pulling away. People are jumping on the train as it's I mean,
Oh
my
yeah,
God, just to make that shot work. It's
yeah.
sort of
No,
like that whole David Lean thing, like Lawrence of Arabia or the bridge over the River Kwai.
yeah.
We got 250 extras. Okay, rolling. It's like, oh my God, how do they make this happen?
It is, I mean, Terrence Malick is a genius, and it is really beautiful. And Brooke Adams plays Abby. Now, Brooke Adams really does look like she's, been on top of a train and been working in the cornfield for some reason. Though Richard Gere just, looks like he came out of makeup. So, and Sam Shepard is kind of, attractively rugged. He works out. He's fine.
Okay, now we got to deal with the elephant in the room here.
What's that?
8.5.
Oh yeah, 8.5.
Now we jump from 1952 to 1963. We jump from Vittorio De Sica to Federico. What did you think of 8.5?
Well, I did not, like you, I didn't watch it all the way through. Like you were saying.
I didn't watch it all the way through either.
Yeah. I mean, I watched the first 37 minutes of 8.5 because that's all the time because we're talking about, we're dealing with 5 films this week, right? So, and usually we just talk about 2. I think it's beautiful and really funny. I mean, really funny. It is a very meta picture at a time where there weren't a lot of meta pictures, which is basically it's confessions of Fellini and his insecurity around his art and his life, and getting older, as told through the personage of Marcello Mastroianni.
I gotta ask you something.
Yeah.
Isn't Marcello Mastroianni the most beautiful human being? I mean,
at points he is, and at points he's looking so worn down. Right at the beginning, when he's in the doctor, when he comes up and he looks at himself in the mirror, and they've clearly painted on like dark spots under his eyes. I mean, he looks rough in that. But no, but later with the fedora on and his cape and everything
and the
else,
glasses,
maestro outfit, yeah.
Oh my God!
It's wonderful. It's because it's the way he moves,
He's just an incredibly handsome guy. And the thing I thought was amazing about that scene that you mentioned, when he wakes up from his dream and all the doctors are taking his blood pressure and asking all these questions, and he walks into the bathroom and he's got like the robe hanging off like from one arm. Yeah. And what I loved most is all of a sudden the clock, like a alarm bell goes up, and he just sort of goes like this.
Yeah.
When he hears it, it was so human.
I couldn't tell if it was the phone or the alarm or what. Something was like.
No, but he just sort of crumples a little bit. He's like, I have to deal with this.
I have to deal with this.
It was so human. But
he so clearly doesn't want to deal with
anything.
He's worn out.
And these exquisitely beautiful women
throwing themselves at him because they want to be in his movies, because it's like, it's a career. It's clearly Fellini, right? It's clearly, and I love, there was a great line in the doctor's office where one of the people leans over and says, oh, you're making another movie about how life is pointless and depressing?
I love that guy. The guy who's constantly talking in like semiotic nonsense all the time.
Oh no,
he's like, you can't find the symbols. The symbols represent the culture and decay, but the decay is fragmented. So
that's the writer. The writer that is helping him with the script that doesn't exist for the movie that's just about to be made. And he's well, there is a script, but the writer is tearing it apart constantly. And Guido, the main character, is just trying to get away. He's just trying to escape this endeavor that he's started.
So the fascinating thing to me is that 8.5 to me, this is the realization that came to me, is that 8.5 is the anti-Vittorio De Sica film. It is the exact opposite of Vittorio De Sica film on every axis. Okay, so there's no animals right off the bat. Okay,
that's right.
There's no animals. There's lots of women, because there's very few women in Umberto D, and there's practically none in Shoeshine. So there's no there's no voluptuous women. Um,
Well, right. Yeah, these are, but they're movie stars that are hanging around Guido in Eight and a
Right.
Half.
So it's not about
Yeah,
the life of people. It's not the gritty streets of Rome. It's not urban. It's taking place in some magnificent sanatorium somewhere in Italy with
yeah,
all this sort of neo-modernist park benches around. I love those
yeah.
benches. You could tell he loved them too, with the huge overhangs, the big geometric
Yes.
benches with the rain shades on them. Um, and it's not gritty at all. It's extra. Everything is absolutely meticulously clean. Everybody looks beautiful,
Yeah.
and nothing's serious, and nobody's in pain, and nobody's poor, and nobody's grinding down people. Nobody's shaking people down for a fistful of
No, no, it's,
dollars.
yeah, no, it is a beautiful kind of fantastic or fantasy.
Right.
Um, and there's the man who's dating the woman half his age, whose wife is angry at him for doing that, and yeah, there's just, and he's trying to figure out like, I just think she just really adores me, and I feel so alive,
Yeah.
um, and Guido has to kind of, I mean, Guido, you get a sense he has his own mistress and a wife,
And he's got
but
a roving eye.
he's got a roving eye, and he's not satisfied with anything, and I think that I think he's just sort of terrified of committing to anything. It seems like that, but I've only, that's just in 30 minutes.
Nothing.
You get this sense.
It's just a ribbon. I honestly, I watched like an hour and a half, and it's the
It
same
just
thing
keeps
over and
going.
over again.
Yeah,
Like they go visit the set of the spaceship. So that's another thing that distinguishes it from Vittorio De Sica, is that there's a spaceship.
yeah,
They're building a set for a spaceship, but it's science fiction. It's very futuristic. It's got that vibe to it. You can tell where Woody Allen got a lot of his stuff from.
hmm,
There's a lot of white, and there's a lot of geometry. So you're starting to get that feeling for like Clockwork Orange and stuff like that. That sort of futuristic world. Everybody's beautiful. Everybody's wealthy. Everybody is attractive.
hmm.
This is not Vittorio De Sica. So that begs the question: is there something that binds them together, other than the fact that they're made by two Italian guys? Is there something that binds them together?
Well, I wondered if, I mean, because the Bicycle Thieves is one of the most famous pieces of Italian
Towering.
cinema. It's a towering
It's
achievement,
of
and I
world
wondered
cinema.
whether that line of, "Oh, you're going to make another movie that's depressing and shows that life is pointless," was a kind of a nod to De Sica on some level.
Huh.
If that was Fellini's kind of nod to, the sort of those tragic films that he made, those, three at least that we know of, that we've watched, every single one of them ends in tragedy. And Fellini is not really known for that. Fellini is more whimsical.
Right.
And so it's odd that a character that seems to be playing Fellini himself is being told he's going to make another depressing movie. So I wondered if that was maybe the connecting tissue.
I don't know, but I'm thinking more broadly. Like, so we've seen these films,
Mm-hmm.
and by the way, just to put it in structure here, 46 is Shoeshine, 48 is Bicycle Thieves, 52 is Umberto D.
Yes, that's right.
And
They're in
Bicycle
series, yeah.
Thieves is the one that everybody, and Bicycle Thieves is really different from Shoeshine. Not so much different from Umberto D. You definitely can see a progression. And Bicycle Thieves is there's no women in Bicycle Thieves. There's the mother who pawns the sheets so that the husband can buy the bicycle, but that's it. But
Yeah,
it's all about a father and his son, which is
that's
really
right.
interesting. It's interesting what the relationships are in each movie. In the first movie, it's about an older man and a young woman that he has absolutely no romantic interest in whatsoever. Um, and you wonder what, and so it's just a purely just two people. She obviously respects him. She asks him to come over and take a look at her boyfriend. So she's all
Yeah.
full of life, and
Yeah.
he's very reserved. And then in Bicycle Thieves, it's that aching relationship between a father and a young son. It's
Well,
just
there is a common theme in all three of them, which is these people are just a paper thin boundary away from total catastrophe.
yes,
You know,
yes, they
and it's
are.
not even up to them always, right? It's not like one wrong step. In Bicycle Thieves, there is a little sense of one wrong step, but the catastrophe befell him not because of something he did. You know, I don't want to get into Bicycle Thieves, but in the case of the young boys in Shoeshine, not really their fault, right?
Right.
What could they have done? You kind of play it back. What could they have done to prevent this from happening? No, it's just the way society is structured. These people just end up being thrown in the garbage. And in Umberto D, again, no, this man is being disposed of by society. And however, in Umberto D, you're right. There's just a little bit of a sense of, okay, now he's not really forming any connections with people. And
Right.
clearly, maybe he hasn't in the past either. And that might have protected him a little bit. Mostly his connection is with his dog. But as we see, he's never really connected to that dog until everything in his life has been broken completely down and everything's gone to shit.
Right.
And then he has a genuine moment of just play.
Right.
And that's about as
Happy as it gets.
Yeah.
In a De Sica film. Whereas in the Bicycle Thieves, it ends with doom. But Bicycle Thieves deserves all the praise that it gets. Because he really touches on something that is hugely, hugely, hugely powerful, which is the relationship between a father and a young son. I could go on and on about it. But so is there anything that connects De Sica to Fellini?
There's probably an intermediate step. I think just looking at these two directors is not sufficient.
Well, I'm just saying, are they talking to each other? Is there anything that survives?
Not that I can tell from.
Not that I can tell.
But it's a really different time. I mean, De Sica is very influenced, obviously, by the Depression and World War II. Right? He lived in fascist Italy, and then so many changes, especially if he's Neapolitan, Naples, 1944. This would not be Fellini's,
Italy.
Foundational
it's not Fellini's Italy.
Vision of Italy. It's just a completely different idea.
By 1963, Italy probably has, it's a different world. Like if you look at England in 1946 and you look at England in 1960, if you look at America in 46 and then you look at 1963, it's a different country.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. So
and there's a movie that I recommended. It's not that I'd never heard of the director, but it was produced. It was the very first movie that Dino De Laurentiis ever produced, called Mafioso. That is a very interesting film that maybe would be worth watching if you can find it. Again,
we should watch Mafioso, and what we should also watch is a film that I think I saw at Haverford called Bread and Chocolate, which was done near the end. I think it's Marcello Mastroianni did it in the 1970s.
Is it also Fellini, or is it?
No, it's neither of those two guys. You looking it up?
Interesting. Yeah, Bread and Chocolate, 1974.
Got it. Marcello Mastroianni.
And yeah.
And he's an Italian guy.
No, wait a minute.
It's
Nino
Marcello.
Manfredi is.
Oh my God.
Nino Manfredi is the
lead
main character. The lead. It's not Marcello.
Is it Marcello?
Italian immigrant Nino steadfastly tries to become a member of the Swiss society, no matter how awful. Yeah.
He dyes his hair blonde.
Nino Manfredi. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. He dyes his hair blonde and he tries to blend into Swiss society. And of course, it's a disaster. Hilarity ensues. But
all right. Well, that might be fun. I don't know if we should keep going with the Italian cinema 2 weeks in a row, or maybe we should. We should talk about this.
I don't know. What are we going to talk about next time? Let's
I don't know.
We'll pull up Criterion Channel and pick something out. Come on. Right
we could do
now.
this. We could do mafioso and bread and chocolate. And
Oh,
if we
no,
don't
you're
have any
right.
other ideas,
We're done with the Italians.
Yeah,
Yeah. We got to go somewhere else. Where are we going to go?
I don't look.
Sarah, what 2 films are we going to watch next?
I need to
Hello,
close this thing.
Elkins.
I need to turn this thing off.
You need to turn what thing off?
No, I don't think I can plan for next week during the taping of the episode. I know that does create a kind of a momentum, and that's maybe a good idea. But I'm likely to just choose something that will be a bad idea just because there's no time.
There's no bad ideas. Okay,
so
you like
Sarah can't help us. Sarah's in the middle of a deploy. She can't. People have lives. They listen while they're doing things.
Okay, so, there's.
I think we should.
We did some Japan. We did some Italy. We did some England. We did Morven Calar and Ratcatcher. So we did England.
Germany.
Russia. We did that. Wim Wenders. We did Anselm, right. And we did Days of Heaven and stuff like that. So we did Germany. The Dutch. No. Anyway.
We did Japan.
Russia.
So Russia, India, China.
Tarkovsky. You want to tackle something? You want to tackle a ball breaker?
No.
Did you see that? It was purely rhetorical. So a film that I saw at Haverford.
Yeah.
And you probably saw too, is Andrei Rublev by Tarkovsky.
No, I didn't see that.
Tarkovsky is huge. I've seen Andrei Rublev. I've seen Stalker.
Okay. Maybe you should choose
Sorcerer.
Is it one Russian film or 2? Can I handle 2 Russian films?
No, you can't. Neither can I.
Let's pick one.
I'm going to go back. No, I'm going to go back to what we actually discussed this before.
Stalker I've heard of. Stalker is something I definitely want to see.
Sorcerer. Because Sorcerer, the movie with Roy Scheider, was based upon a French film called The Wages of Sin. So we should watch The Wages of Sin and Sorcerer.
Okay.
You up for that? Or do you want to do, I really don't want to do Klaus Kinski and Werner Herzog. I really don't. That field's been plowed too many times.
Yep. Wait, here we go. Sarah's got some recommendations.
See, I told you. It's like the bat signal. We have busy. Like this Elkin signal. We just shine it up in the clouds, and Sarah.
Here's the thing, though. If we do watch something, I mean, and it doesn't have to be next week, but maybe the week after. Sarah, maybe we could have you on, and we could discuss something that is kind of your favorite, obscure. But writing Julie Dash, Daughters of the Dust, different from anything else you've done, and it's also beautiful. Gullah family, coastal southern USA. It's all one movie. Julie Dash, Daughters of the Dust, is Sarah's recommendation.
That's one film.
It might be that Julie Dash is the director.
Daughters of the Dust. Okay, but we need 2 films, Sarah. You got to cough up another one.
Or maybe they're 2. No, it's all one movie, is what she's saying. I'm cutting this out. This is not interesting.
This is fat. No, this is
leaves
cinema,
the edit.
This is cinema verite. People love this
verite.
Shit.
Excuse, a little too much verite.
Oh, you know what? Now you're getting Daughters of the Dust by Julie Dash. Set in 1902, film stars of 3 generations of Gullah women from the family in St. Helena Island, South Carolina. Okay, so what do we pair with that?
Good question. Well, something else by Julie Dash.
Okay. Let's take a look at Julie Dash. Julie Dash, Daughters of the Dust. What's her filmography here? Hello, filmography.
So known for Daughters of the Dust, The Rosa Parks Story, Funny Valentines, and Illusions. Rosa Parks' Story is a TV movie. Funny Valentines and Illusions.
Let's do Rosa Parks. Daughters of the Dust and Rosa Parks. Got it?
The Rosa Parks Story. That's a TV movie.
That's fine.
Yeah, there is a higher rating on Queen Sugar. No, it's a series. Hang on, a 2-episode series, and she directed two of the episodes. So, yeah, I think you might be right. All right, so
okay, Rosa Parks.
all right, but now Sarah's complicated things because those are Spike Lee, aren't they? She's Got to Have It and Just Another Girl on the IRT. You see what I'm saying? This is not.
If you give a mouse a cookie, don't let the pigeon drive the bus. Don't let Sarah recommend the agenda for the podcast. Okay, you got to pick one, Sarah. Okay, so we got Daughters of the Dust. You get one other. You have one job, Sarah. No, one job.
So I think sticking with the same director, right? So we did De Sica, 2 films. I think Julie Dash. We should do 2 films. And if you think Rosa Parks is it, or if you think there's another one. But it sounds like maybe you don't have a preference. Now let's see. There's a short film called Homegoing. That is her most recent. And there's no information about it.
Okay.
But it sounds like Daughters of the Dust is definitely a good one.
Yep.
Illusions?
Also writer.
An African-American woman rises to prominence in a fictional movie studio in the 1940s by passing as a white woman, affording others some dignity in the business that frequently portrayed movies as an illusion of a purely white world. That sounds great to me.
Okay, let's do Illusions and Daughters of the Dust.
Illusions and Daughters of the Dust. Sarah? Do you want to just let us know if you want to do that next week or the following week? And have you on as a guest host.
Okay, cool.
All right, and we'll work all that out on our own time, but
yeah. It's I would like to come back to the Italian cinema thing because I'm fascinated. I'll do it on my own, but I'd like to see if anybody's written an essay like, how do you bridge the distance between Umberto D and 8.5? I mean, it's only 10 years. And man, I mean, you couldn't imagine two different planets.
Yeah, totally different.
So interesting.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna solve that here today.
It's a big question. Oh wait,
good enough for government
responded.
work.
After taxes, not next week. All right. Next week is up in the air, but I'll try and think of something. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. We'll work it out.
Okay. Bye.
I gotta go.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Funny Not Funny is produced by Jim Infantino at Slab Media in Boston. Jim Infantino and Lionel Casson are the co-hosts. Our website is funnynotfunny.net. The theme music is from the song Wheel from the album Utopia Revisited by Jim. The opinions presented by the co-hosts are ridiculous and should not be taken seriously by anyone. Our intended audience is literally nobody. If you're listening to this podcast, you should probably pause to reflect on other choices you've recently made. Please do not subscribe or leave a rating or review. It only encourages us to make more. Thanks for listening.